In this situation, we have someone who has committed multiple violent felonies. We have 3 victims in these cases whose lives have been changed forever. One guy who was just trying to do his job, he was delivering food, and the defendant pulled out a gun on him when he was just asking for ID. We have 2 other individuals, a father and a son, who were trying to, I believe, sell a PlayStation, if I remember correctly, and he pulled a gun out on them. The victim in that case said he had a daughter, and he was afraid for not only his dad, but also that he would never get to see his kids again. He's had opportunities in the past. We can see from his juvenile history that he's been in trouble before. He completed it successfully, but he didn't learn anything from it.
State of Texas versus D'Angelo Robinson. Can our parties approach and announce for the record?
Marcus Sanders for the state.
Albert Chidas for Mr. Robinson.
All right, and are you Mr. Robinson? All right, I'm gonna need you to speak up so I can hear you and so that the court reporter can hear you. In each of the cause numbers, you entered a plea to a cap of 10 years. The state is opposing your applications, and they're taking several cases into consideration. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report, state?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections to the PSI report, state?
No, Your Honor.
Defense?
There was one typo where it talks about him having a driver's license. He doesn't have a driver's license. There's a number on the first page.
All right. State, do you have any witnesses?
No witnesses, Judge.
Defense, any witnesses?
I'll just call my client.
All right, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record. All right, defense.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Robinson, do you understand why we're here? What are we here to do?
My sins.
Okay. And you understand you're asking the judge to grant deferred adjudication probation?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand what that means?
Yes, sir.
Can you just briefly describe what probation is?
Pretty much second chance, and if I mess up, then I get my first sentence.
And deferred adjudication, does that mean that you're not found guilty unless you are unsuccessful with your probation? And you understand that there's a downside to deferred adjudication? And
I can't hear you. You have to speak up.
Yes, sir. I understand.
And you understand there's a downside to deferred. If it is granted and you're unsuccessful, you face the full range of punishment for the offense.
Yes.
Okay. Knowing that, you still want to make your application?
Yes.
Okay. Now, there's some pretty serious cases that you're facing. Are you taking responsibility for your actions? And is it your intention, if the judge grants deferred adjudication, to stay out of trouble? Is it your intention to work? Is it your intention to report to probation as ordered?
Yes.
And if they tell you you have to do community service, you're going to do it? If you have to do classes, if you have to take any kind of like anger management or any kind of class that the judge sees fit. Okay. And let me ask you a little bit about your upbringing. Is your dad in your life right now?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me?
Okay, you're whispering. Is there a reason you're whispering?
No, just be louder.
Okay, all right, thank you, because I can't hear.
Yes.
Can you tell me just a little bit about your dad? Well, let me ask you a different question. You said your dad's not been in your life. Where's your dad been?
Outside.
Okay. And how old are you right now? How old were you when you committed these offenses?
17.
Okay. And had your dad been in your life most of your childhood?
Yes.
Were you raised by your mother?
Yes, sir.
Have you had a good relationship with your mother?
Yes.
Have there been problems at home?
I mean, now that I got out and with all of this, working to get a better relationship with my mother.
Okay. And do you have support If the judge were to consider giving you probation, do you have a job right now?
I have a job now, but
Okay. You've been awaiting this hearing for a while. Have you been looking for employment? Have you found employment? You said you're not working right now. Okay, what's the problem?
they just won't let me work because of my uncle money. Saying like the whole situation, they're just not sure if I'm gonna to be there and work.
Okay, and so they don't want to invest in training you and all that, and then you end up going to jail.
Right.
Okay. Are you trying to better yourself?
Most likely.
Do you have your high school diploma?
I'm not sure if I'm working to get my GED.
Where are you going?
I'm out to college.
Okay. And what has been the progress that you've been making, if any?
What do you mean, school?
Right.
I mean, I've come very far. I've took like 3-4 practice tests, but that's pretty much it.
Okay. All right. And what's your long-term goal if you get your GED?
Finish school, go to college, open my own business, maybe my CEO
Okay. And where are you living right now?
with my dad.
Anybody else living with you there?
My mother.
And are they helping
hold
you,
on.
supporting you?
Her mother?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, speak up. I can't hear you.
Are they helping you through all this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. No further questions, Judge.
If you're finding this story captivating, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more gripping true crime content. Your support means a lot. Thank you.
State.
No questions, Judge.
All right. I still don't know, why did you do this?
Honestly, there is no excuse. I can't. You know what I'm saying? I can't just tell you, oh, I did this for this reason. Because the end of what I do is unacceptable. I'm just here to own up to everything I did and face my consequences.
Okay. All right. Any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor, just like to say a few words on his behalf.
All right. State argument.
Judge, we are asking that you deny his application. I understand that we have a defendant who's beyond 19 years old. And generally, we're not, at least from the state's perspective and my perspective, I'm not pushing to send teenagers to prison. In this situation, we have someone who has committed multiple violent felonies. We have 3 victims in these cases whose lives have been changed forever. One guy who was just trying to do his job, he was delivering food, and the defendant pulled out a gun on him when he was just asking for ID. We have 2 other individuals, a father and a son, who were trying to, I believe, sell a PlayStation, if I remember correctly, and he pulled a gun out on them. The victim in that case said he had a daughter, and he was afraid for not only his dad, but also that he would never get to see his kids again. He's had opportunities in the past. We can see from his juvenile history that he's been in trouble before. He completed it successfully, but he didn't learn anything from it. I don't believe he would be a good candidate for probation or deferred. And I believe based on his offenses that he should be held responsible and have to spend some time in prison for it, especially for the victims whose lives have been changed forever.
All right. Defense.
And Judge, I would just respectfully disagree with the state. I think that the things he did and a lot of the things he's done are before he was even past being 17 years old. At 17, his brain's not fully formed. And the upbringing that he's had, his father going to prison, his father never being around, his mother, I've met his mother. She's not, she's not the best example of maybe the most supportive parents he's ever seen. And so he's grown up basically raised by the streets, having a whole bunch of people that you probably wouldn't take advice on what movie to watch, let alone what to do with your life, being the people that he associates with. He's made huge mistakes. He knows that now. He's trying to turn things around. Yes, there are victims. Thankfully, they were not injured. And I don't mean to minimize what happened, the things that he did, but we can send him to prison and he'll probably come out worse. And then we're going to have to worry about the things he'll do in the future, or we can give him a chance to right this ship, do the right thing, and prove to this court that he deserves deferred adjudication probation. Yes, he's got some juvenile history. He's got these cases that are before the court, but if he somehow gets it together, gets his GED, maybe goes to college, maybe learns about holding down a job, working 40 hours, he can still be a productive citizen. And the court can still sentence him to a lengthy probation period, supervise his behavior, maybe right him, put him on the right track. And yes, there's a risk. There's always a risk. In all these cases, there's always a risk that the person's not going to do what they're supposed to do. But he could do all those things after he gets out. If we put him on the right track, maybe he'll never do anything wrong again. So I asked the court to consider all of the circumstances, including the fact that he hasn't had good leadership with guidance, and the fact that he does have support right now, that he's trying to do right, and that the court has discretion to put him in prison in the future if he doesn't do what he's supposed to do. So we would respectfully ask for the court to grant deferred adjudication for Mr. Robinson and see if he can live up to his promise to the court.
Okay. All right. With regards to restitution amount, there's been no restitution stated. Is that correct?
It was in the plea bargain. I believe it was $1,200.
And I believe one of the complainants has received a check from, I don't know if it's an organization for like $2,000 or $3,000.
Yeah, there's no, I see where it says in the pre-sentence report, monetary loss $1,200 to $1,300, but I don't see any documentation to justify that, and I haven't received any of that.
And Your Honor, I actually just remember, I believe the co-defendant has a part of that or is working on payment. So we wouldn't request restitution.
And what happened to the co-defendant?
The co-defendant, it was a recommendation of deferred judge.
All right. And where's the co-defendant's file?
He fled and was sentenced, and so that may be why it's separated.
Okay. Could I see the co-defendant's file in this case? 2021 CR 99738. Just give me a moment. State, do you remember the reason for the recommendation of deferred for the co-defendant?
Yes, Judge. Partially was because he did not have a second. He didn't have as many cases pending that were violent in nature as this defendant, and also because that defendant was willing to accept responsibility for his actions. I guess I would say sooner than with the defendant.
All right.
Judge, I just remembered the other part that factored into my decision is that the offer of account from which the ag robbery originated was for this defendant. And I believe he does admit to it in his PSI that he came up with the idea. He denies being there when it happened, but he was, I guess, the mastermind behind it.
All right. Is there anything else from either side?
No, Your Honor, just that, like I said, he's asking basically for the same thing his co-defendant got, and he's willing to do what he has to do. I think it's the first time in his life that he's ever had to really face anything like this. So I think it's made an impression on him.
If you're still with us, make sure to like and subscribe to keep up with more shocking true crime stories. Your support helps us bring these stories to light. Don't miss out on what's next.
All right. Anything else from the state?
Oh, you're right.
All right. Mr. Robinson, I appreciate and understand your issues with your home life. I'm taking that in consideration in sentencing. What I can tell you is a lot of times people don't have the parents they wish they could have had. And maybe if someone had specific guidance in their life, maybe they wouldn't be where they are now, right? And I'm taking in consideration your age as well. I realize that you're young, but these are violent offenses, right? The plea agreement that was reached in the other case was a plea agreement that was reached in the other case. So this is something separate, but I always like to know what happened with other parties who are involved, because I think that sentencing should always be fair, and I try to take everything into great consideration. And sometimes I take a long time. And the reason why I take a long time is because I want to make sure that I'm doing justice for the person who's in front of me. And there are a lot of things that I have to consider. I have to consider, do I think this person is a good candidate for probation? Do I think this person will do well? If I send this person to prison, what will happen? So it's a very heavy burden. In your case, I am going to deny your applications. If it were a situation maybe where I could do a shock probation on you, who knows? Maybe I would consider doing that. But because of the nature of these offenses, shock probation is not allowed. So what I'm going to do is in each cause number, I'm going to find you guilty. There's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon in each cause number. The cause numbers will run concurrently. The court will take in consideration 2021 CR 9974B, grand jury number 761639, grand jury number 73869. And each of the cause numbers, there's to be no contact with Gilbert Diaz, Gilbert Estrada, Israel Guerra, Courtney Petit. I will ask that you be placed in the therapeutic community. Whether or not you decide to take advantage of the therapeutic community is completely up to you. I can just request it for you, but if you don't ask to be placed in it, they're definitely not going to place you in that, okay? And in cause number 2021 CR 9973B, the court will sentence you to 5 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. And in cause number 2021 CR 9974, the court will sentence you to 4 years in the prison and give you credit for any time served. And each of the cause numbers, the court will request that you be placed in the therapeutic community. In each of the cause numbers, I'm showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review those documents with your attorney? Did you understand them? And did you sign them? All right, because these are plea bargain agreements in each of the cause numbers, because I followed your agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand? And each of the cause numbers, because these are felony convictions, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand? All right, we can go off the record. Mr. Robinson, sometimes I know you're about to go to prison. Sometimes people think of this as the end of the world, but this is really a chance for you to stop, do better, internalize what got you here. And when you get out of prison, try to do better so you won't be back here. You understand? I know this is making your life harder than maybe you want it to be, or harder than you thought it would be. But it's not the end of the world. And while you're in prison, you need to make sure that you take advantage of all of the opportunities that are there for improvement. I know they have plenty of opportunities for education, and I think the education may be free. So you can get your GED while you're there. You can start doing college work while you're there. Now's the time to start working on yourself, okay? All right, good luck to you.
Thank you, Ron.
You're welcome.
Your Honor, we have time for victim impact statement.
All right, excuse me. They say they have a victim impact statement.
It's on Zoom.
Oh, he's on Zoom? Is it the person named Gilbert?
Yes.
And I also have an Aurora Gomez.
That's advocate.
Oh. I'm like, who is Aurora? Well, it looks like there's a problem with them joining. Ah, here we are. Well, Aurora was able to join. Is she a part of the, should I know her? Renee? Yes, you should know. Is today Monday? Yes. Yeah, this is why this is happening. It's a Monday. All right. My understanding is that you are here to give a statement. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. So I always require everyone in the courtroom to treat everyone with respect. So you can listen to what he's saying, internalize that, and hopefully improve. Okay. All right. You may start.
Of course. Me?
Yes.
Well, I mean, just whatever I have to say. All I have to say is I'm sorry to him for going through this. I'm a forgivable person. And I just wish it wouldn't have went that way. I was hoping for something, I was hoping for an easy trade-off, but I did stay traumatized mentally for weeks, maybe months. Cost me a lot of money. My car was damaged when I got it back, and I just felt like if you walk away from this with probation, I think it's just because you got caught. And I feel like if you didn't get caught, you would have kept doing it. And I just, I don't know what else to say. I had a gun pointed to my head, and I seen my dad had a gun pointed to his head, and I could have not made it home to my daughter. And that really stuck with me in my head. I hope you learn from this. Like I said, I hate to try to get you into any, prison or anything like that. But I just feel like it's the consequences that you have to learn how to face, and you got to go in life with, knowing that there's consequences to everything you do. And, I forgive you, bro. Like, I just won't forget what you made me go through. And that was a scary moment. But yeah, whatever happens, I don't hate you. I forgive you. And I'll leave it up to the judge to decide.
This case wasn't just about crime and punishment. It was about responsibility, redemption, and the ripple effects of one person's choices. Robinson now has years ahead of him to reflect, but will he use them to change? Or will history repeat itself once he's free? Let us know in the comments.
Thank you for joining us in uncovering the chilling details of this case. If this story has left you disturbed or reflective, please share your thoughts and reflections. Remember to like, subscribe, and stay with us as we continue to explore the stories that reveal the darkest sides of human behavior. Together, we keep these lessons alive, ensuring the voices of victims are never forgotten. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe or follow.